I don't know, hopefully everyone can hear me. All right. That. How's it going, Dink? Sykes, how's it going? How's it going? I thought I said Dink, but thanks for subscribing. I think that's awesome. Thank you. I am raising funds for the food bank for the Heartland. Trying to get a post out there on the social medias, which I usually don't do. Hopefully the titles are all good. What's that there? Let's do one on the Twitters, which I don't usually do. And a couple Discords. Why is not doing it? I never do, you know. I don't know why it's not linking there. HTTPS. Okay, it's not linking for some reason. Oh well. Won't link there. It's alright. Other posts. Things are open. I'm going to check things, make sure things are all up and going. But yeah, I have them live on Twitch and YouTube trying to do a multi-stream, just to make it more accessible to people. I'm not sure if it works in YouTube, but there should be a link to donate in the description. But otherwise, you should be able to do ! donate to get a link. Let's see, we'll open this up all the way, I guess. Getting the stream set up always takes a while too. Trying to get all the cameras to work. I had another camera, it just wasn't working for some reason, so it didn't, I don't have my glory hole cam, but let me move things over so I can see a couple of things. I usually have it so you can switch cameras and stuff, but can't really switch the cameras. I wish I had a short link for it because it says, it reads the whole thing out to me in the speech to chat. But that's what I have to do. Alright, let's get some tools set out here. Alright, should have a spoon or something. Hello, Aqua Alex, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. Just grabbing some tools, trying to find the spoons and stuff. I kind of wanted to get started with the stream a little early just to make sure it's working okay. But, alright, let's turn that on. We're going to start with just kind of some simple drinking glasses. You know, because I know those will sell. It's been a while since I blowed glass, so I got to kind of get back into it a little bit. Build my calluses back up in my hands, somewhat. Let's make sure our annealers are on. This one should be on. Okay. A grabber over here. Hope everyone's day is going well. First time kind of streaming during the day. Haven't done that in a long time. Let's see, what do people use for grabbers now? Okay, where do they put them? Okay, got these. Still missing a spoon. I don't know where those went off to. But I hope everyone's doing okay. Do I need to brighten myself up? I should be okay. We'll see how that is over there, camera-wise. Slide it out a little bit so maybe you can. Whatever I'm working on is going to be right here, so I might slide the camera over a little bit. Or maybe you'll see it. Yeah, I'll just kind of move it just a little bit. Yeah, it's true. That's true. Yeah, I've been meaning to do this more often. See if that stays there. Keep it on manual focus maybe. So it doesn't keep changing. Yeah, I don't do this enough. I really do want to do it more. There is a lot of things changing at the shop as far as like how things are going to be handled here. So at some point I'm going to have to decide what I want to do with the stream and what I want to do with, you know, continue it on and continue to do glass blowing in the stream or separate it, because I think down the line blowing glass is going to cost me more money, and I got to figure out how to support myself later in the future if I want to continue to do this, and especially continue to stream glass blowing, because it's going to be expensive to be what they call a member here at the shop, and you know, to support the shop and keep it going. The people who blow glass here are going to be putting money into the shop to keep it going, and then they can also sell their stuff here. So you want to be able to make enough glass to support how much you're putting in to keep the shop running, as well as making it kind of fun and, you know, interesting to you, especially if you can make a little extra income off of it. But I'm not doing this for a living, the glass blowing, So the streaming of it was just for fun, but now I'm going to have to consider how to make the streaming of it pay for itself, so I'm not losing money on doing this in a way. And it's kind of a sizable chunk of change that could be coming up. So the future of my streams in a way will be kind of figured out. But today, everything's fine. But we will raise money for the food bank of the Heartland, and we're going to start with some drinking glasses. And we're going to start with just kind of multicolor. So I'll put that on the table. And let's see, I need something to smooth that out. Might take this down like that. So we're going to start with some just basic drinking glasses right now. We're going to put multicolor on the bottom, kind of swirl them, things like that. Just kind of give a little twist or whatever. We'll be going into an optic mold to shape the glass. This is what we call the optic mold, which is really just a metal pipe. So I'm going to blow the glass in here, so this will kind of give all the glasses a general shape. It also kind of chills the outside of the glass and gives it kind of a texture effect to it a little bit, so it's not going to be completely clear. It will have kind of like a watering effect to it. I like to consider kind of a watering effect. So chill marks, as they're really called. So I got two cameras. One's the wide camera, so this is pretty much where I'm going to be talking. Kind of you'll see me going around and working at different locations. And then this is the bench camera. This is hopefully to show the piece I'm working on. I kind of darkened it a little bit. Maybe it's too dark, I don't know. I could brighten it back up. But sometimes when the glass is hot, you'll see it more. When it cools down, it might be kind of that dark for the camera, but we'll see. So as I'm heating up the rod, glass will stick to hot glass, but it won't stick to cold, or glass will stick to hot metal, I should say. It won't stick to cold metal, so we can use this marver here to shape the glass, and it won't stick to it. And we're heating up the rod so the glass will stick to it when I gather from the furnace. Will I sell the glasses that are made? Yeah, these will be sold, so I will put them on the shelf here to sell. If I make enough of them, I'll try to put them up on Etsy. I really should be building up a glass supply now for Christmas, and I should have been starting that like 3 to 6 months ago. You know, at the beginning of the year, you want to start building up your supplies for December. So these glasses I'll make, and I'll try to sell them. So I want to make enough, and I was talking about the sustaining yourself and the cost of the glass studio and the cost of sustaining yourself. You really want to be productive and make as much as you can, so you can have more to sell. And the more you can make in that timeline, in the 1 hour or whatever like that, then the more affordable it is. Out of state, yeah. If you want to buy them out of state, let me know. If you're looking for glasses in a certain color, let me know, and then we can figure that out. Shipping wise, I forget what it is to ship glasses. It's about $15 to $20 to ship the glasses. I kind of forget, depends on where you're shipping them to. And I don't know if that matters. If it's 2 or 4 glasses, the shipping is kind of the same for either. It's weird how much shipping is. But yeah, we do. I do ship them once in a while. I more do it for like orders, because I don't have enough glasses to put on Etsy right now. But I'm hoping to kind of build some up and start selling some on Etsy. So the glory hole over here is about 2200 degrees. The center furnace here is about 2100 degrees, and this is where I'm going to gather the glass from. So we keep this burning 24/7. We never shut this one off. It holds our clear glass inside here, so I'm just going to gather. It's kind of like gathering honey. So I dip in there and keep it turning to gather. And I always want to keep the rod turning to keep the glass from dripping on the ground. I'm just going to marver this out here now. Push this out. And we're going to start a bubble in here. So I chill the side, so when I blow this bubble, it doesn't blow out the side. It kind of goes up and out the top. So gets an even bubble. And I'm just going to blow a little air in here, cap it with my thumb, let it expand, and hopefully that's going to create that bubble for us without having to hold and blow. There it goes. So now I got a bubble here. I'm going to tip it down, kind of like gravity, kind of center it for me to keep it as it cools so I can gather more glass on it. But yeah, the center furnace here was running 24/7. We never shut it off. If we shut it off, the glass will get hard and it takes a lot longer to get that back up to temperature. So if it's ever down, you're trying to get up to temperature to work, it takes, when you build a new furnace, it takes about a week to get that up to temperature. You know, several days to get up to temperature, and then you throw some glass in there, heat it up, melt it down, throw some glass in there the next day or so, do the same thing, repeat the process. So we don't want to shut that down because it takes so long to get up. And then once the glass cools in there, if the glass was to cool in there too quickly, it could break the furnace inside there as the glass expands from cooling. But the glory hole here that we work in, we will turn this off at the end of the day and turn it on at the beginning of the day when we're ready to work. It takes about an hour or 2 hours to get up, depending on the glory hole. So it could take some time to warm up, but that's the one we turn on and off through the day. So now this is cool enough, I'm going to gather on it. It's going to be kind of a thicker glass. So I got more glass in here, and I'm going to pick up this color now. So now I got the multicolor on. I'm going to heat this up and melt it in. Anytime you apply color to your glass, you want to heat it up and melt it in so it attaches. You can leave it bumpy if you want, but over time it kind of melts down the more you heat it. But you could apply the glass and give a texture to it so it's a little bumpy and stuff. Now we're going to start kind of rounding it off and shaping it so we can blow that bubble a little bit more. Tip down a little bit. So I'm going to be going to the optic mold. I'm going to heat this up, just kind of stretch it a little more and try to thin out that neck. Now I'll stretch it in the optic mold. Make a jack line where we're going to break it off. That's the top of the glass, and then we kind of indent the bottom. It's kind of dark over here. I might turn up the exposure on the camera. Now we can transfer this. I don't know if the cameras are too dark for the viewers. Now we're going to make what's called a punty. Attach this to the bottom of the glass. Try to center that up as best as possible. Tap it off. Now we can heat the other side. Hopefully we have that rod centered up enough so the glass stays centered. We want to get that top nice and warm so we can open it up. Especially that was the coldest part of the glass that I've been working with because that was closest to the rod. Start to open it. We'll heat it up some more and open it the rest of the way, hopefully. So I'm trying to make sure that top is nice and warm so I can shape it pretty easily. Let me try to open it the rest of the way here. Now we have our drinking glass. So we just kind of flash it, keep it warm. And now we'll take this off. So there's our first drinking glass of the day. Plenty more to make. So we're just going to kind of chill where it's connected. Hopefully just pop this off and put it away. There's the glass. So then we got to put it in the annealer. So it goes into the annealer. Annealer is about 900 degrees. So everything we make today will go in the annealer so it can cool. We call it cooling, but it's at 900 degrees because the different colors and the different thicknesses of the glass will cool at a different rate. So we got to put them in the annealer so everything cools at a consistent rate to get rid of any tension that would be in the glass. So this in my pocket a little better. So we put it in there. So once we're done working, we'll keep putting our pieces in there, and once we're done working, we'll turn the annealer off, and it will it'll cool it overnight and it'll come out tomorrow. So there's the first drinking glass. We'll keep going, so we'll start making another one. Put this up here to heat up. I'm not sure what else we're going to be making today. I did have one order. Someone did want a pumpkin. I may try to make a pumpkin, but I haven't really made any before. I think I made one or two in a long time ago. So we may try another one just to see if I can make one. Might do one clear a little later, and then try to add some color to one so I can make one for the person who wants one. But it's been a long time since I made a pumpkin or even tried, and I haven't really made them in the past, so that one may fail. I might have many failures before I get one that works. I'm going to share one more thing again and then get back to it. Let's see here. I don't know why my YouTube always changes my title on me. I change my title on YouTube. YouTube is not as easy to change information on. Save that. All right, there it is. And now the YouTube channel is correct. And I'll share that. All right. Okay, so we're gonna make another glass now. I don't usually do a bunch of social media posts saying I'm going live, but since we're doing a fundraiser today, I wanted to try to share it some more. Got some crud on there. Okay, same thing, we're going to gather a little bit of glass from the furnace here. Start our bubble. Trying to gather a little less than I did last time. Carve that out. And we'll start the bubble. We'll just give it a little blow. we'll let that cool. So we tip that down and let it cool so we can gather more glass on this. Got the multicolor spread out here. That's the one we'll add. Sometimes we add a little twist to the multicolor, but right now I'm just kind of applying it so it just kind of speckled around it. Maybe we'll do a couple glasses later where we twist the color a little bit. Just add a little bit of different flow to the color the way it's applied. That should be cool enough. Push that glass out a little bit, and now we'll add the color to it. All the way around, and melt that in. So hot glass will stick to hot glass. Sometimes the glass is too cold. If it's too cold or too big of a piece that's cold, they won't really stick very well to it. But these little chunks that we're picking up on the marble there, the glass is so hot that when you roll it on there, it heats up the glass itself just from the radiating heat from the piece you're working on to pick up the color. So you can apply a lot of color that way just from gathering the glass from the furnace and then rolling it in. And that's kind of the best way to pick up color to get the most color. You can apply color different ways, but sometimes to get the most speckled this to your piece of glass, doing it after you gather from the furnace is a little easier. Okay, just put a little jack line in this. We'll stretch it just a little bit, give it a little puff, but then we'll have to heat it up again. Just kind of get the bubble back in there. Now we'll heat it up. So I'll heat it up and let it hang and stretch the neck out so I can thin the neck out a little bit. Tip this down, stretch it. We'll blow at the same time, kind of expand and thin out the glass. Now I'm going to heat it up and we'll go in the optic mold. We'll blow it in the optic mold to give it the shape of the glass. Expand it there. Now we want to just kind of define the glass a little bit more by making a mark where we're going to break it off. And then we'll flatten the bottom. Indent the bottom just a little bit. So the reason I indent the bottom like that is that kind of helps to find the center of the bottom of where to attach the punty. But also when I break the punty off, if the punty leaves a little bit there or a little nub or something, the indent allows it to have a little bit of bump there without messing with the way the glass sits on the table. Then we kind of grind the sand or chip away anything that's left from the punty so it's not sharp or not in the way. But by having an indent in there, it helps Helps to make it easier for it to sit at the table if too much of the punty comes off and leaves a little on the bottom. Okay, we marble this to a point, so this is called a punty. Marble it to a point so we can attach it to the bottom here. Find the center. I attach it, and then we try to center it up as much as possible. Hard to gauge sometimes, trying not to push too hard. Tap that off, and now heat the other side of it. Now we're going to put some heat into it so I can open up the other end. So we want to kind of put more heat into there just because it's cold. I wish I had the glory hole camera here, but couldn't get it to work before the stream. Equipment's kind of dying down on me, so may need to get better equipment eventually. That up. Okay, we'll kind of check it, kind of smooth out the top of its glass, open it up a little bit, and then we'll come back to the heat, kind of open up the rest of the way. I'm just going to check that top here, kind of even it out, and start to open it. The mouth of this one's just a little thicker than I would want. You know, when it opens up, it should be okay. To open this up. Alright, so there we go, we have a glass. The lip of it's a little thicker than I would like. Kind of need to stretch that out a little bit more. It's also because I'm gathering too much glass in a way from the furnace. Just because the glass is a little colder this morning, but just need to make a little adjustments. Try to make that better next time. But now we can take this off, put it in the annealer. A little tap, and we put this glass away. Ooh, hot. I'm trying to reach far into a 900-degree furnace. Can get quite warm. It is kind of warm in there. Add some more color down here. We'll make a few more. I always want to try to make at least 4 glasses so you have a set. If you can make 6, then you have a few extra and people can match and and compare and pick out their favorite 2 or 4 or 1. So I always try to make extra glasses when possible, because like art is subjective. It's all kind of on the eye of the beholder. So which ones they prefer, which ones they like that fits in their hand better, which colors to them look like they match the most, or the height of the glass sometimes. I want to leave it open for people to kind of pick and choose the glasses that they want, and that's why it's kind of hard to sell on Etsy sometimes, because you're picking the glasses you put together to try to compare and be like, these are the 2 glasses I think go well together, and I'm going to put these on Etsy. And you kind of hope that the people who buy them, they see the pictures of them online, they like the way they look, and when they get them, they hold them and they look at them in person. You're hoping that they love them more, or they like them, or things like that. But there's nothing like coming in the shop and picking up a glass and looking at it, holding it, and knowing that this one fits my hand, or I like the way this one sits, or I really like the colors and the way they look in person. It's a lot easier to see that in person when you come into the shop than to sell online and try to put a picture up there so people can see the picture and know what they're getting, and knowing exactly what it's going to look like when they get it. That's one of the difficulties I find, as well as everything else, of dealing with online sales. But I really want people to experience the glass and know that that's the one that they're going to want. That's one that they're in love with before they even leave the shop here. Because we have people order stuff and I'll send it to them or things. But a lot of times when someone orders something, I'll show it to them first before they'll buy it, because it's like, these are the glasses you ordered. Excuse me. Do you love them? And do you really want them? Because I don't want anyone to leave here and be like, well, I bought these glasses because I ordered them, but I really don't like the way the colors intertwined that I chose together. Because most of the time when you make glass for someone and if they don't like them, you can put them on the shelf and it'll sell, because someone else will come in and be like, oh, I really like those colors the way that they're combined, but the person you made it for might not. And that's why it's important to me in the glass that you're making that the person who leaves from here really enjoys and gets what they want and gets what they really love out of it. We'll put another rod up here. We'll get, got to remember to keep putting rods up so it warms up while I'm chatting. I'll warm that up a little bit. So we'll make at least 2 more glasses, and then maybe we'll move on to something else after those glasses. I do want to make several glasses because, like I said, we're making stuff as well to sell for Christmas. I'm toying with the idea of maybe raffling off some glasses, but I don't really know how to do that with the setup I got right now. Doing a raffle is a lot of work too. Move this a little closer so I can reach for it a little better. I'm going to brighten up that one camera just slightly. Let's see. It's as bright as that goes. So we'll do that. I'll bring it down just a little bit. That's really touchy. Maybe around there. We'll keep it around there. I think that, obviously it's darker on the angle, but I think that looks better. Color balances are off between the cameras, and that's all right. Excuse me. So we'll make another multicolored drinking glass. And once again, exclamation point donate. We'll open up the donation link on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, it should show underneath on the description of the channel or on the video, so you can see the link there. Raising money for the food bank for the Heartland for food insecurities. The interesting thing about the food bank is for every $1 donated to them, every $1 they can feed 4 people, which is just, to me, an incredible stat. Like there's no way I think that like anyone could feed someone on like 4 people with $1, but they're able to buy in bulk and have their connections that every dollar raised can feed 4 people, and that's just it's an incredible thing, especially right now. So gather a little bit, moderate. We're going to push it out. Chill the sides of the glass. Going to blow a little bit of air in here. Cap it with my thumb. So the moisture in my lungs turns to steam and expands, and that's how it's creating that bubble. So you puff a little air in there, cap with your thumb. All that's moisture in your lungs, air that you blew in there turns to steam, and expands and creates that bubble. So then we have this little bubble form that I can let it cool and gather on top of it again. It's a lot easier than holding it up and kind of trying to blow like this and keep you have to keep it turning, you have to blow and things like that. We do that, but when you blow the glass like that, I feel like it's kind of like blowing an animal balloon. It's really hard sometimes to get that initial tension broken so the bubble starts. But once the bubble gets started, then it's a lot easier to blow. Then so it's like an animal balloon. You're getting that first initial puff in there is really hard, but once you get it going, then it's a lot easier. We'll let this cool just a little bit more, and we'll gather on this, and we'll pick up the color again. Marver this up. Hey Archie, how's it going, Archie? Did I ever make animal balloons? Yes. Some fun facts about my life now. Growing up, my mom got into animal balloons and actually being a clown. So she was the Packer clown for a while in Green Bay, going by a clown named Dot. And she had kind of gotten animal balloons and stuff around at that time, and I started learning how to make animal balloons. I kind of learned how to juggle, learned how to make animal balloons. I didn't make anything advanced. I didn't make big giant animal balloons, but I can make your basic stuff, things like that. I did end up buying some, sticking with the name Combustible Dan here. I did buy some torches to juggle. So I was going to learn how to juggle flame and fire. I never did get around to it, but I still have the torches somewhere. We were going to learn how to fire eat, things like that. I never got to that either. But yeah, somehow fire has always been a part of my life. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I do know how to make basic animal balloons. Training, all that training for like fire juggling, animal balloons, training for glass blowing in my life. It's a weird turn of direction. But it's really weird when your mom asks if you want to go and be, a clown or, a paid stripper in a way, for like birthday parties. You could be a stripping gorilla, or it's like, I don't want to be a stripping gorilla. I know it's the comedic stripping, not the real stripping, but I did not want to do that in my life. Way too much information right now. But they have their own little clown shop, things like that. I'm going to blow us in the Optic Mold. I'm an open book, apparently. To make that jack line now, that's where we're going to eventually break off the rod here. and make sure that that bottom's flat. Now you heat this up, and we'll flash it, just put some heat into it, and then we'll get another pipe to transfer this. And gather a little bit of glass. Push it out into a punty. Try to keep this centered. Put a little water right where we want to break it off. Tap it. And heat it up. We put some heat back into it. Warm up the top of it. So now we can start opening it. Just go open it a little bit and we'll put more heat into it and open it the rest of the way here. We'll get hot enough that I can open it up, and maybe we'll even hang it down. You know, come out of the glory hole a little bit, hang it down a little bit. That's also a stretch the neck a little bit, keeps it centered. Hopefully you can stretching the shoulder out of the glass. That's there. Every little movement you make when you're making a glass can affect it. Hear that little squeaking, that means I need more wax on the jacks here. Just gonna flash it, try to even out the heat before I break it off. Now we can attach a little, or chill it. Kind of touch it there, chill where it's attached, trying not to make any marks on the bottom of the glass. Any chill marks, and then we can break it off. A little tap, and put this away. So now we have three glasses made. We'll make a fourth one now and then kind of decide if we want to make two more. I think I would like to try to make 6 of them before I move on to something else here. but kind of out of stuff that's in the shop that's selling, but there we go. So while that's heating up, I just want to kind of show a little bit of the glass. So we have the glass in here. It's a big crucible that's holding about 300 pounds of glass. So I'm just going to gather a little out of here. You gather kind of what, it's kind of like honey. But if I don't rotate the glass, it just drips on the table. So keep kind of dripping and stuff like that while you're going. But hot glass will stick to hot glass. So and you can keep stretching it as long as the rod's hot or the glass is hot. But then you can touch hot glass to itself, stick to itself, and there you go. So that's how we kind of apply other parts to pieces we're making, is just bringing hot glass to it and attaching it to itself. Different things like that. But to me, glass moves a lot like thick honey, the way it drips and stuff like that, and the way you have to gather it. It's got kind of that same motion in a bit. In a way, when you shape glass, you're shaping it the same way you would on a potter's wheel. If the clay on a potter's wheel, it's different because it's sideways, and you can't touch it. So you have to use tools to shape it, but it's still rotating and still being made in the same process, in a way of like you using tools to shape it and maneuver it and design it into something. There's a lot of similarities there, and with the heat, and a lot of use heat in pottery as well. Okay, fourth time's a charm. We'll see if we get a fourth glass here. I usually always say when I try to make glasses, I can get about, I can make 4 glasses in an hour, but only 3 of them will make it. So we'll see if my luck is holding and we'll get 4 glasses this time, or if this is the one that will fail. It always could happen. Usually there's always one of them where something goes wrong. Puff a little air in here. Get that bubble going. There we go. I'll tip it down, let it cool. Try to keep it centered, keep it rotating so it cools. A lot of the things you work on, it's the initial bubble that makes a big difference. So if you can get a good bubble going here, keep it centered, keep it even, and then you gather on that and you continue to work and keep it centered, keep it even. Your beginning bubble is kind of the foundation of your piece. So if your beginning bubble is off center, or or thicker on the bottom and just not even, then you're going to have a little struggling with the piece as you go. So you always want to start as centered and as a good start as much as possible, so it makes it a little easier as you go. Gather a little bit here. Marver that out. Apply the color. Heat it in. Okay, now we'll shape this. So we're just using a wooden block here. Usually the wood's from some kind of fruit tree or something like that. That kind of wood. My father-in-law started by cutting down some apple trees around his house and making the blocks from his own apple trees. And that's kind of how he got started. He got started in his garage, and over time it built up into what the glass shop here is. It was kind of amazing where he started and what he was able to build. And now there's a lot of glass blowers in Omaha that work, and they're all because of what he built up and what he did. But a lot of tools and things he would make himself. He did some blacksmithing too, so even the tools he used, he just kind of blacksmithed his own tools and then used them for his glass blowing. Try to stretch this out a little bit. So I'm going to heat this up and go in the optic mold now. Try to stretch out that neck a little bit more. This glass may not be as high as the other glasses were. I'm going to keep this one a little shallower. We'll see how it stretches. You gotta be careful because a lot of times the color will stretch more than the clear, depending on what colors you have. So they have these multicolors in here, you know, greens and blues, and reds sometimes, but mainly green and blues will stretch a little bit more. So if you have a lot of that in your piece and you're trying to stretch it or blow it, you got to be careful that those areas don't blow out, and you want to try to blow it and make it even. So when you're working with color on the side of your glass and you're blowing and stretching, sometimes it's where that color is that gets the thinnest because you're blowing and stretching right there because it maintains the heat the longest. So you kind of have to pay attention to that. Try to maintain an equalization of the heat while you're working, or keeping it thicker there and stretching it more by the neck before you start blowing it out where the color is. To a point. Try to keep that point still somewhat hot, so you don't want to marver it too much. The marver will pull away your heat, and then you won't have enough heat to attach it. Or it'll pop off when you're trying to pop it off the other side. Thought this one was going to fall. Almost did. Put a lot of heat in here, getting it back in the glass so we can open it up. Make sure you don't overheat it and seal up your hole here, because you can end up overheating it and sealing it back up as it melts back together. So if you're stretch it and it's too small of a hole on the tip there, it could melt in and just close off, and then you have to find a way of reopening it, which gets really, really difficult to do. There are easier ways of opening it up or whatever, but sometimes it doesn't look the same then after it. Sometimes after you finally get the hole to open back up, you gotta break off the top part of it, just kind of even it out again. All depends how you do it. Okay, we'll try to open this up now again. You can tell the color's getting a little bit warmer there. Whoa. Okay, we'll heat it up one more time and stretch it out. Now we can open it up the rest of the way. Alright, so there's our fourth glass. There's still a possibility it could still fail. Even in the annealing process, it could come up tomorrow and we could find a crack in it that, sometimes even during the annealing cycle it could break, could lose one. But we do have 4 glasses. As long as I can get it into the annealer now without losing it. A little water on it down here. Show where it's touched. And we can just kind of pop it off and put it away. There we go, 4 glasses so far. Hot, hot, hot. Okay. So we're going to try to stay on this cycle and get 2 more glasses. So I have a total of 6. Put the rods back up here, warm this up, and put some back on the warmer over there. So we have some stuff to work with. There we go. So we'll make 2 more glasses of the multicolor, and we'll figure out what we're doing after that. Still drinking my coffee from this morning. Whew. Preheat the rod so we can gather the glass on it. We want to warm the tip a little bit, so we give it a little orangeness to it. Just make sure the tip's hot enough, so it makes it easier to blow the bubble when you start. If the rod is too cold and you gather glass on there, the rod could pull some of the heat out of the glass, and then trying to blow the bubble is a little harder. So if you heat the rod up a little bit, put a little more heat into there, then when you gather, it maintains the heat in the glass and makes it a little bit easier to blow that initial bubble. Ooh. Alright, so we'll gather the first little piece of glass. First little gather of glass, I should say. Come up here and marble it out. Anything that's in front of the rod will be part of the glass, or the piece that we're making. Anything on the rod gets lost. So a lot of times you want to push all the glass out to be in front of the rod, so it's not lost when you finally finish. Especially when you're making like paperweights and things like that. You could have a lot of color and stuff over on the rod, and that it may look good, but if it's not in front of the rod, then it's just going to be lost. Yeah, puff a little air in there. Try to find where the camera is going to be out of focus though. We get that bubble to start. There you go. Now we want to center that up. So you just kind of set it down, let it chill, let it cool. Gather on this. So you can see the color starting to come out of the glass as it cools. So you want this to be, cool enough that you can gather more glass on it. So as you see, it's still radiating quite a bit of heat on here. It's probably still about 1,500 degrees or so, but it's starting to get harder as it cools down. So we'll gather on top of it now that it can support more glass. That up, gather the color on there, try to gather it at a point where it'll be lower on your glass, so it's not too far up close to the rod, so that when you blow it and transfer it, the color is kind of like at the bottom third of your glass. It just depends where you want the color to be, the band of multicolor that you're putting onto the glass. Start to shape it. Maybe I need to slide the camera back a little bit more. Make a jack line. This will eventually, hopefully, thin it out a little bit as we stretch it, but that'll be where we want to break it off. Tip it down a little bit and blow. And then we'll heat it up and stretch it out some more. We'll let it stretch and then we'll find a place to break it off. We're going in the optic mold to give it the glass shape in a little bit before we get to that point of breaking it off. So we heat it up and let it stretch, try to thin out the neck. Tip it down, try to let it thin, and try to let it thin out the neck before I give it a blow so it doesn't blow out and thin out the glass part, the color part. And we'll heat it up and go in the optic mold now. And as we go in the optic mold, we'll try to stretch it out some more to thin out the neck, to thin out the lines, the sides of it. We'll let it settle in the bottom here in the optic mold. Now we got the shape of the glass. Kind of put a little heat into it, and then we'll define the neckline where we're going to break it off. And then we'll flatten the bottom as well. of even it out, flatten, indent a little bit. Now we can transfer it so we can open up the mouth of the glass. So we gather another rod here. We'll gather a little bit of glass. This is what we call the punty, so we're just putting a little bit of glass on here just to give something to attach to. I'm going to marver this to a point. Put that into a point here, and we'll attach it to the bottom of this glass. Try to keep it centered. A little bit of water up on the top here. Don't want to tap too hard, but it wasn't coming off. I probably didn't chill the mouth of the glass enough when I tried breaking it off, but as long as it doesn't fall off the punty, we're okay. So we're going to put a little heat at the top of this now, or if it does, as long as it doesn't crack up here. Going to put that heat where we want it. Kind of see me standing to the side here a little bit. That's to get out of the direct way of the heat. So the heat's coming straight out of the glory hole towards my hand here. If I'm standing in front of it with my shirt and stuff, that'll warm up quite a bit. So you kind of stand to the side to be out of the direct heat a little bit. That's how you can stay a little cooler through the process. Even though the furnace is like 2100 degrees, 2200 degrees, it's a lot of heat that can come out of that center. Put it down. Flatten the top a little bit. And we can start opening it up. As I start to open, I kind of pull away from the glass a little bit, try to thin out the mouth of the glass just slightly. Now we'll heat this up and open it up the rest of the way. So we'll get enough heat into there to open it up and finish it off. Dented it a little bit. We'll be able to smooth that back out. So now we can open it up. Open it up a little bit wider just to thin out the mouth of the glass. There we go. Now we have a drinking glass. So that makes 5, I think. Now we chill the bottom, just kind of chill the punty where it's attached. We should be able to pop this off. Just kind of tap it off. And then we put it in the annealer. So we got 5 glasses now. Probably make 1 more to get 6. That way we have kind of a set or whatever. So if someone buys 4 of them, we have 2 left. They can still be bought as a set. If someone buys 2, we have 4. However it goes. I just like to make several. Give people an option that they can buy the ones they want if they want them. So we'll warm up the next punty, or warm up the next rod here. How's it going? So we'll make 1 more glass, and then we'll decide what we want to do from there. Might make 1 glass, quickly eat something, and then get back to making some pieces. So, we'll see. Starting to sweat a little bit now. So anything that's clear that we make can go back into the furnace. So at the end of the day, we can put the clear stuff back in and reuse it. Anything that has color on it, we sometimes will throw in those bins over there, and we sometimes will find ways of reusing it, but we don't want to waste color. So we always want to have try to reuse as much glass as possible, because glass can be expensive, and you want to not waste a bunch of color or waste a bunch of glass. So we try to find ways of reusing and recycling the glass. Put the donate link up there. If anyone wants to donate to the food bank for the Heartland. All right, we'll gather a little glass again. Marv this to get a bubble started. Puff of air. We'll let that expand and create the bubble here. Let that cool. Let it cool so I can gather more glass on it. I think I'm going to widen that one camera out just a little bit. Maybe I'll slide it that way. Like it was kind of moving a little bit. So hopefully you can see what's going on there a little bit better. Okay, we'll gather more glass on this. Just kind of push this out a little bit. Add the color to it, and then melt that in. So melting that color in, just kind of get it to attach to the glass, smooth it out. regulate the heat in the piece here. Smooth it out a little bit. Let's start the bubble. This is a little smaller gather of glass here. So hopefully we'll, just make kind of same size glass. Might be a little thinner glass. Put some heat into it so I can stretch it out and blow it some more. We'll blow in the optic mold, give it the shape of the glass here. Hello, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in. We're making our 6th glass now. We're having a full set. We'll flatten the bottom here. So this is where we're going to break it off. Now we got a flat bottom here now, so this sit on the table. Put some heat into it. Hope your day is going well. All right. Get another rod here to transfer this to. We're going to marver this to a point here. This will be the punty attached to the bottom. So we made a set of glasses, and pretty soon we'll be switching to something else here. Make something else. I'm not exactly sure what yet though. I do need to practice a pumpkin, so I may have to try to practice a pumpkin, make a clear one to see how it works. But it's been a while since I've done it. I'm not exactly sure I can do that. All right, we'll put some, tap that off. Kind of put some water there, chill it where I want it to break off. And we tap it to crack it. You kind of hope it doesn't fall off the punty you made. And we're going to put some heat back into it here. So heat up the top of this. stretch this out, start opening it. Then we'll go and heat it up and open it the rest of the way. So this will give us 6 glasses. Maybe I'll take 2 of the glasses and put them up on Etsy, just to put for sale. Not sure. Maybe we'll take 2 glasses and auction them off on Monday's stream. If I can figure out how to do that. Open this up. That should be number 6. So we're just going to flash it in the heat a little bit. And then we can take this off and put it away. This is sort of my birthday weekend. Birthday's on Monday, so I'll be doing a birthday stream on Monday. Oop. Oh, gotta try and move it back. Kind of got caught on the grabbers. Come on, let go. Oh, all right. So that is 6 glasses. We'll see if they survive the annealing process. See if they keep going. Oh. All right. So now, what do we want to make? We made glasses. Kind of feel like we should make a vase to go with those glasses. Maybe something a little bigger just to kind of make something. I do want to go, I think I'm going to get a drink of water and I'm going to get maybe a little snack or something. And I'll be right back and we'll make some more stuff. Not exactly sure what, but we'll make them. So we'll be right back. All right, I think I'm gonna make a vase, and then I might take a little break to go get some lunch. So let's make a vase to match kind of the drinking glasses we made. We'll spin it open a little on the top, kind of flare it out just a little bit, like the standard vase that we usually make. Should put a little more color on here. It's just going to be clear vase with multicolor. And since we didn't twist any of the color in the drinking glasses, I probably won't twist any of the color here, so we'll keep it kind of consistent to the way the drinking glasses are. Not that necessarily people are going to buy them together, but since we made them that way, we might as well make a pair, something that might go with it, match it on a table. So the process of making a vase kind of starts pretty much the same. You're still gathering, still making that initial bubble, but then you're going to gather and try to get like a bigger bubble, more glass on the gather. You're going to try to get more glass on the second gather. So the bigger the piece you want to make, the more glass you have to put on it. So we're going to try to work with a little bit more glass than just a cup. And we'll also be putting a foot on it, or try putting a foot on it. So we'll kind of let some stuff drip onto the marver there. We'll get our newspaper ready to shape that foot. Let that soak in there a little bit. All right. Okay, so we can get an initial gather here and try to get a lot more on here. This rod's a little bit thicker, a little bit bigger, so hopefully we can get a decent bubble start, a decent gather going. It's not a hugely different size, but chill aside there, start a bubble. Tip it down. Okay, now we'll let this cool. We'll gather on this and get a bigger size piece of glass. Keep this turning, keep it centered. Letting it cool a little bit more so I can gather more glass and maybe have a little more support when I get this next gather. Okay. little more color onto it. Losing control of it. I lost it. But that will be able to save that. We'll see what we can do, but technically the bubble's still there. It's not lopsided though. So we're chilling kind of where it's thinner, blowing it out where it's thicker. So basically this piece is a lost piece, it's a mistake. Now I'm trying to save it, see if I can make anything of it. So we'll heat this in, melt down the color that's on there. Sometimes your mistakes get to become something really nice. Sometimes they are just mistakes. We'll see if we can save this. What we'll do is we'll still put a foot onto it, and we'll have to stretch out the other side of it. So it basically got too hot, too thin I should say, from when I gathered on top of it, that it couldn't support itself anymore and started folding as I was trying to set it down there. So we have some folds here at thicknesses where the color is really thick right there. Might be some areas might be thinner down there. So we're trying to even it out as much as possible right now, and not thin it out too much on certain points. We'll define the bottom a little bit. We'll put a foot onto it and transfer it, and then we'll try to work on stretching out the neck of it and the thickness of it up there to even it out. Alright, so let's give it a try. We got a little excess of glass here. Drip that there. And we'll try to center this up in it. So there we have a foot. Now we'll shape that foot. Try to keep it centered on the bottom of this misshapen vase right now. Shape that foot a little bit. Indent the foot. Now we'll transfer it and see if we can save this piece, make it into something that maybe I'll give to my family members or something. Like, here, Mom, I made this specifically for you. It wasn't a mistake after all. All right. Punty here. Alright, so now we're going to make a punty and transfer it just like we do everything else. Kind of making a ring punty. Attach this to the bottom of this. We'll put a lot of water up here to break this off up here. We'll see how it breaks off. Now we'll heat that up. Try to open it up, might puff it, depending. It's pretty thick up there, but I'm not sure how thin the thin part is and how thick the thick part is, but the way to fold it on itself. You get a lot of heat in that top, Ken, especially how thick it is. like it folded, but still pretty thick there. So we'll try this. Actually, we're going to try something else. Need to find where a steamer is. No idea where it was. I guess we may have to try to blow it. We're getting a lot of heat into this. We're going to try to puff it open. I was looking for a steam stick or like a big giant block that we put on the ground. You kind of set this on it, it'll steam it open. I don't know where it is, so we'll have to use this metal puffer if I can. Not working like I want it. Stretch it down again. That's what I was looking for. Let's see if this works. Kind of steam to puff it open. Just go. Now we'll start to open it up a little bit. still kind of thick on the one side. Well, we're going to try to spin this open. Could be a bad choice to do this way. We'll try to thin it out, maybe spin it and then hang it down. Stretch it out. See if it saved it. It's kind of heavy. So there it is. A little awkward. We'll see if it's lopsided. We'll have to wait to see what it looks like when it comes out, whether or not it sits okay. But for messing up in the very beginning, at least we kind of saved it. Alright, put that in the annealer, wait to see how it comes out tomorrow, if it's something that we did save or if it's going to fail in the process. We'll see. I think right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little break, probably end the stream so I can go get some lunch, and then we'll restart the stream after I'm done, just because I don't want to just let this sit here aiming at nothing for half an hour, something like that. Not sure, but I'll be back and be streaming again in a little bit. Just don't forget, we're raising money for the food bank for the Heartland. So if you can, I would appreciate if anyone wants to donate to the food bank for the Heartland. For every dollar raised, it feeds 4 people, which is an incredible feat by anyone. So the food bank is an incredible place that helps a lot of people. So if you can donate, really appreciate it. This is pretty much my first kind of fundraising stream I'm doing for myself. So I really appreciate if people would support the food bank for the Heartland and then help out. But I'll be back in about half an hour, 45 minutes hopefully, and we'll be back to streaming again with some more glass blowing and get into some different stuff. So we'll be back. Take care. See you a little bit later.